You're watching Morning at NTV.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Vilodera. I truly hope that you had a fantastic weekend and that you're geared up for the week. It's a brand new week, and I know many of you are actually looking out for jobs. Either you're fresh graduate, you've been in the job market trying to hustle to get a job. Today's Kickstarter segment is just for you. In case you're also, in the tertiary level of education, in college, in university, there's something you can do just to set yourself apart so that by the time you're graduating, it's easy for you to get a job. So that's the conversation today. So in studios to break that down is Mr. Newton Buteraba. He is the CEO of Uganda House of Wealth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mala. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Let's agree.
Yep.
We are all not cut out for entrepreneurship.
Which is true.
It's true.
Yeah.
So for them that are not cut out for entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
what can they do to ensure that they actually get that office job? Let's start from there. Of course, with the cycle being you start from secondary, primary level,
Yeah.
you graduate into tertiary level, then you're hopeful that you'll get this job. What do we do?
Thank you, Mala. I would like to thank for the viewers. I usually want to start with a disclaimer that 2,000 years ago in Luke 24, 1-8, the two ladies, Mary Magdalene and Joanna, went to the tomb, and they found that it was open, and two men appeared to them, and they told them, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead?" So I want to remind Ugandans that the jobs we have in Uganda, they are too minimal that we are almost looking, it's analogous to the Bible where you're looking for the living among the dead. So look at our population. It is so high. Our population is high. If you estimate in 2016, we had 400,000 graduates coming out to join 150,000 jobs. So we've been having a deficit and a deficit and a deficit and a deficit. So the people out there, they should know that what they are going to look out for is so slim that their chances have to be increased by their other abilities rather than just a qualification.
When you talk about abilities, what do you really mean? Because I know the competition is quite high, like you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Every year we churn out quite a big number
Which is
of
true.
graduates.
Yeah.
And gone are the days whereby having a degree was the in thing. Now
True.
everyone can access a degree.
Exactly.
So what X factor should we have?
You see, they're what they call soft skills. Now, you get a degree like in engineering, but then the soft skills are negotiation. The soft skills are being able to be a team player. The soft skills are all the other things that you would add on the technicality you have. So what I encourage people to also try to learn is when you're looking out for a job and the competition is that stiff, then the employer is going to be able to see whether you're multitasking on the other things. For example, the very first job I got when I had just returned to Uganda, I was employed as an IT expert at Enterprise Uganda. But later I asked my bosses, the competition was stiff. Why did you have to choose me? And they said, we realized that you also had the ability to train entrepreneurship. Now imagine what is expected of you. I'm being hired as a systems analyst, but because that company also trains people on business and entrepreneurship, and I mentioned that hey, I'm also a trainer of entrepreneurship, they're like, we could have him rather than having one individual who is always going to be on computers and all that. So there is that X factor you're going to bring on the table, and it has to be doing with soft skills.
So number one, soft skills.
Yeah.
Number two, multitasking.
Multitasking, true.
All right.
Yeah.
And also there's that other thing. I'm sure before you actually got to that panel of interviewers,
True.
you had to do a cover letter, a CV. So what are the do's and don'ts when putting together such documents?
It's a great thing, and every time I want to answer that question, I want to get to a book by Sun Tzu. It's called The Art of War. And Sun Tzu was a great Chinese general. The things he put down are the things that are still used today in war and fighting. He said, when you know your enemy and you know yourself, fear not for any battle. But when you know yourself and you do not know the enemy, for every win, expect a loss. So how does that relate to this conversation? When you're going to apply to a company, you just need, you look at the company in the context of the enemy, then get to know everything about them. Everything about them. How did they perform last year? What did they struggle with? Do you have friends there whom you can ask to eavesdrop to let you know how we are struggling in the maybe marketing department, so and so made these losses and all that, such that when the job is to do with maybe, for example, I'm into IT. I'm an IT professional. If I were to enter any company and I'm looking for an IT job, I need to know which system are they using for the database. Is it upgraded? Is it struggling? What are they using as the network setup? Is it upgraded? Is it struggling? Such that when I come and present myself, in that interview I can even, there is always that session of, do you have any question for us?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you use as the network? Then when they mention the network, and I'm like, have you tried to use this and this? Are we on this level?
Right.
Are these people certified to this level? When you know your enemy and you know yourself, you do not have to fear for any battle. But lads turn up for interviews, and the only thing they know is their CV. And many people also do not know their CV. They just find a template of a cover letter on Google, then they pick everything there. They have someone draft for them a very good CV, and they present it. The guy just holds it and says, oh, you did this and this and this. So how come this is like this and this? And you're like, because you did not write that CV yourself.
I get you. So what you're saying is that you're supposed to actually do quite a huge research.
Exactly.
Like a lot of research. With regards to the job that you're applying for. Number two, you need to customize your CV to fit that particular post that you're looking for.
Exactly. You enter in there and you're mentioning numbers. For example, if you entered a company like Airtel and you're like, you are the leader in this, and you beat your competitor with these numbers. When I come on board as the sales rep, I would just want to add this percentage, and if it's multiplied like this, and they'll be like, wow, let's just get this guy in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to stop that habit of just putting down one CV and sending it to quite a number of people.
Exactly.
Every CV has to be customized.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I want to tell the viewers that getting a job is analogous to traveling abroad. Look, when you're traveling abroad, what do you want? You need a passport. Now, a passport is your qualification when you grad. I mean, that's your qualification. But then that passport, they have to put a visa. Now, if you realize, if you have a passport and you have a visa, then you can travel. Now, a visa in this sense is experience. Now, because you cannot go and buy experience from anywhere, it means you have to look for the visa. Can you get internship? If you can get internship, then you're stealing that experience. I want people to know that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon when you're looking for a job. Forget the peer pressure, where you find your friends are driving immediately after campus. Your friends are getting married immediately after campus. It's a marathon. So when you finish campus, you can give yourself a minimum of like 3 years when you've stolen the visa from any company. So you find your way to get yourself in there. Internship, volunteering, give up on the money. When I came back to Uganda, I had just finished a master's in information security from University of London. But I was willing to work for free. I had spent over, like, let's say, 150 million studying, but I was willing to work for free. Now, you imagine someone has spent 150 million studying for a master's, but is willing to work for free. and you're in Uganda, you've spent like maybe 30 million, but you're not willing to work for free for some time. You have to steal that experience, that visa. You have to rob it from somewhere. So you come and present yourself. I presented myself to banks and I'm like, hey, I want to be there. You do not have to pay me.
Right.
As long as you give me transport and lunch, I'll sit there.
But you're getting the experience.
Exactly.
All
So
right.
when you enter there and you get the experience, that's the currency. That's the currency for the job market.
But one thing you're telling me is that you
Yeah.
don't have to wait until you graduate for you to look out for opportunities to volunteer, to do
Exactly.
internship. You can actually start it out in
Exactly.
second year of your
Exactly.
university
Exactly.
session, okay?
In fact,
Yeah.
on that very point, if you look for a job immediately after graduation, you're 365 days late.
Wow.
The moment you entered second year, you have to change the way things are. You have to understand that now this is it. So you may want to actually start studying evening, because it's possible. You can go and attend evening lectures, then look for somewhere to volunteer or intern during day.
Okay.
Then you throw around the CVs. You start building the network. You start building the network because you have 365 days for the whole entire third year.
Right.
So that will give you a chance that by the time these guys are writing CVs immediately after graduation, for you, you already have people you're sending CVs to. When I said it's analogous to traveling abroad, I meant that you needed a passport, which is your degree or qualification. You need a visa, which is experience. Then you need an opening. When you have a visa, all you need is a ticket to travel.
Right.
So it means when you have the degree and you have experience, then you need the job openings. So it means when you do that during that time of the third year, and you're meeting these people. For example, you want to work on TV, and then you turn up here after grad. You're too late. How about you spend your third year moving around these media houses? If I wanted to talk to Mala, and I sat there at the reception, the first time I will miss you. The second time you'll say you're busy, but the third time you'll be like, hey, you're Newton, you were here the other day. What do you want? And you're like, I'm doing journalism and I want to do this and this. And then for you to throw away the back, you'll be like, I'm not the right person you should see. You will point me at the cameraman. Now I'll talk to the cameraman. He will toss me around to someone who heads maybe the system. You will be tossing me around.
Right.
But at the end, I'm making my network. Because I didn't study with you people. I don't know you people. But when you're tossing me around, and you're tossing me around in the company,
Yeah.
I will be lucky. I'll be lucky that when I'm writing my CV, finally they will point me at someone whom I should give my CV.
Okay.
All my other colleagues I study with, they'll be dropping their CVs at the reception.
So what you're saying is that you need to be proactive.
Exactly.
Push yourself. No one will do this for
Exactly.
you. The other question is, by the time maybe you've sat in for X number of interviews, and you know many jobs will tell you, you know what, don't call us, we'll call you
Yeah.
to tell you whether you qualified or not.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure many people are watching, and maybe they've sat for over 20 interview sessions, and no company has ever gotten back to them. So is there power in following back? You yourself just, fine, they told you don't call us, we'll call you, but calling back and going a step further to ask, where did I go wrong? What did I do that maybe you're not looking out for? Feedback on how you responded to the interview questions. Is it important?
Thank you, Mala, for that question. Now, the amazing thing is you need to know the rules of the game. Every game has rules. For example, if we are playing football and you handle that ball in the penalty area, they're going to give your opponent, the opponent will be given a penalty. Now, in this realm of job hunting, these things of we will call you, I don't want people to buy into them. The companies I know that will say we will call you and really, really call you, are these maybe the bigger companies because they're hiring at a certain there is a friend of mine who works in a very huge company, and he told me, Newton, there is a job here, and I'm like, but I'm no longer looking for jobs. I quit employment. Now I'm telling people how to work. And he told me, you can't turn down 2 million shillings every day for a job. And I'm like, okay, are there taxes? And they're like, he's like, this one you don't pay taxes, you're like an expatriate and all that. I'm like, okay, if it's 2 million a day, I'll maybe try. Then he told me, but these guys take their time. They can call you for an interview after like 6 months. Now, that's the kind of job where they tell me, we will call you, and I sit back and relax. All these other companies, when they say, we will call you, probably you did not meet the right person. You see, the politics is being played usually at the reception. Because also the receptionist may want, with all due respect, may want also to connect the people they know. Because I told you the jobs are so minimal.
Right.
So they'll be getting all these things and saying they will call you, and then you also relax. Then you're out of this game. You have to be making sure someone is calling you. Those who say they will call you, they also have to be in the queue. But you have to be, someone has to be calling you. I was sitting with a friend the other time, and I'm like, are you applying for jobs? And he's like, yes, I've applied. And I'm like, I've been with you for 6 hours. Your phone hasn't rung. It can't make sense. They should be calling you. You should be applying to startups, medium and big companies. You just go, you understand them. I mean, you have to give all your time to that. All your time to that. You come, you drop the CV, you ask for the HR department. Because when you just drop your CV to anyone, then they will say they will call you.
So what you're saying is don't drop your CV just to anyone.
You can't drop your CV to anyone.
As much as you have to, maybe the system says drop to the receptionist, make sure you at least get a contact.
Exactly.
Follow up through call
exactly.
or email.
Exactly.
Do your follow-ups.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I want to tell you that it works. I remember the very first job I applied for in this country. When I placed my CV at the reception, I got to know that the head of the organization is an old boy of St. Mary's College, Subi. And I was like, I have to meet him. So after dropping the CV, I also requested to go and check on him. So I went and shook his hand, and he's like, hey, you're so-and-so. And I'm like, yes, I'm Newton. Then I told him a story that I remember you came at our function and all that. I created rapport. So you just do not tell me that drop your CV, go relax, we will call you. No.
Okay.
When you drop your CV, you have to follow up. You have to know who is who. You get their numbers. You just try.
Yeah.
Amicably, you find a way through.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even after the interview, follow up in
Exactly.
case you lost out on it, in case
Exactly.
you failed,
Yeah.
get to know where you
Yeah.
actually went wrong and improve on it.
And there is no failing in interviews.
Yeah.
You're just learning how the process works. I mean, you're going to be in this interview and you've never met a realistic person in your life. So you're going to find this person on the interview. He will blow you away.
Right.
Then you will learn that. What you learn there, you take to the other interview. So every interview you do, you cannot fail an interview. I usually tell myself, Newton never fails interviews. When I come to the interview and you do not take me, you do not deserve me, or you did not find me. We can't work anyway. So you have to pick from that interview what you are going to call the failure. That what you're going to call the failure is what is going to make you pass the second interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I sit in panels and we interview people
True.
for jobs for different companies.
Yeah.
On consultancy basis.
True.
But there's one question that we both agree that people actually miss out on. And this is the question where you're asked, tell me about yourself. And people fail that question.
True.
And that's the question that can actually give you the job
Exactly.
or make you miss out on it. So
Yeah.
how do people go about answering that question? Tell me about yourself.
I'm Newton Buteraba. I work for House of Wealth, and my company helps people on their journey to make, grow, and keep money. Can you do it in 15 seconds? But even if you can do it, you have to practice it. You have to sing it. You have to time yourself. They will ask you that question, whether in Russia, whether in Iran, whether in Southern Sudan or Juba. Anywhere, they will ask you that question. So it's... I don't think it's a good idea for you to just think you will go to the interview and boss it when you do not know the very basic questions. They'll ask you, tell us about yourself. They'll ask you at the end, how much do you expect to be paid? And everyone is to be paid, I don't know. I mean, you have to come with a price. You have to come with an amount. Then you remind them that I know you have a policy where you'll be following to pay us. But this amount, I mean, you have a value. They're looking to see whether you can value yourself.
Let's get back to that tell me about yourself question. Do I say that, hey, I'm the last born of my mother? Do I go to my personal issues, my personal profile, or my professional profile?
By the way, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
I attended an interview for a huge company in the UK. And what happened, the tell me about yourself in the UK was about the things I love and the things I'll bring on table. I came to Uganda and the guy told me, tell me about yourself. I told him the same things and he told me, you man, you mean you never went to primary? I was like, okay, his tell me about yourself is my primary, my secondary, my degree, what. But ideally, for this market, the tell me about yourself, I realized, requires you also to mention that little background of how where you went to school. Now, you have to remember that you mention where you went to school, then you mention what you will bring on table, your strengths.
Yes.
That you bring on the table. I realized it's required for this market. In Europe, the tell me about yourself has no school in it. It just has your strengths and experiences and how you fit in. So I would love to think that when you go for all these numerous interviews and they ask you these questions and they ask you these questions, you must be noting them down and giving yourself a chance to fail 10 interviews such that you ace the 11th.
All right. Yeah. So what I'm getting from you is that we need to stop explaining about our personal profiles.
Exactly.
Don't tell me you're a mother, don't tell me you're a wife until I ask it.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you're going for a marketing job, just mention your previous job or your previous internship or your previous positions, the numbers you helped that company get. For example, it would be like, so and so who helped my previous company reach this score in sales, in market share, in this. Because I mean, you're selling yourself. This is the market right here.
Go down to the detail.
Go down to the detail of selling yourself, and the human resource people will agree with us that that's also what they want, because they get over 10,000 applications and they need only 13 people. So how are you going to actually sieve out someone? Are you going to say that one came with poor hair, this one didn't come with this one came with a cringed shirt and all that? You're going to pick that person who will leave that element in you that, hey, this guy knows how to sell himself.
All right.
Yeah.
And let's wind up on the money question.
Yeah.
Money. It's all about the money. So how do I go about answering that question, like we said earlier on? So how much do you want us to pay you?
Yeah.
You're supposed to have done some homework. So when doing some homework,
end of story.
Where do you go around asking about that particular company and how much they pay? What should you do just to ensure that you have your numbers right? Because I know many people lose out on jobs just because of that particular question as well.
Like I say, the reason every company wants someone who is experienced, it's because companies are running. So when you come and you're not experienced, it means you'll be standing, you're static. That's why they usually want someone who is experienced. So that element of a company hiring people who are experienced, it means the departments already exist. So the homework bit comes in that you come and you infiltrate the company. You create a friend, and very few people will mention their salaries, but I mean, they will give you a hint. You can ask, for example, if someone wouldn't tell you their salary, you'll be like, how much does your boss get? Maybe you could mention the boss's amount, and then you extrapolate or you interpolate, and you're like, okay, if this is the range, you can mention a range, but the idea is when you're a starter, just look for your when you're starting up, just look for your something that will meet your personal expense.
Okay.
Rent, transport, food. Relax on that and ask for that.
All right.
Then you'll be competitive.
Okay,
Yeah.
but make sure you don't underquote and
You-
don't overquote.
For the start, you can underquote.
Okay.
The idea is you want to steal the experience from
All
them,
right.
so you can underquote. It's okay. You'll enter there as long as they're paying your food, they're paying your
Your
transport,
rent, your
and your
transport.
and your rent.
Okay.
You can underquote yourself. They'll put you in. Later, you
Grow it
overquote.
up.
Yeah, when you get the experience, you overquote yourself any day.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Newton
True.
Buteraba, for giving us insights. It's a
Yeah.
Monday. You're all going out there to look out for jobs. Even if you're in a job, I'm sure we all want a better job. So now you have the tips. Share this video. We'll share it on YouTube. NTV Uganda, that's the page. Morning at NTV still continues. Up next is Andrew Chamagero with Reality on the Ground. Keep it here.